Hi everyone, we are Group 4, and today we will introduce Special Educational Needs Teaching Assistant. So for content, there are 4 parts. The first one is job description, and the second one is recruitment process. The next part is selection methods, and the end of the part is critical reflections. So for job description, Wizard Select Group is recruiting teaching assistants to work with children and young people who have autism spectrum disorder and social, emotional, and mental health needs. The role focuses on supporting students in their learning and personal development. Teaching assistants are expected to help students build confidence, develop their abilities, and achieve small but meaningful progress in their education. The job emphasizes that even small achievements, such as attending a class, are considered important success that contribute to long-term development. And here are the link.
Transferable skills. Communication skills are important as teaching assistants need to communicate clearly with students, teachers and other staff, especially when supporting other students with different needs. Patience and resilience. This is important as patience helps educators understand progress and diverse learning needs of individuals. Empathy is important as teaching assistants must understand students' emotional and psychological needs and provide appropriate support when needed. Teamwork is essential as working in collaboration with the teaching professionals to ensure high quality standards are maintained and students are supported effectively. Adaptability allows for educators to adjust teaching methods to best fit each individual needs, allowing for everyone to have the most effective education. Recruitment process. First, you will prepare the job advert, including all relevant details such as qualification requirements and skill requirements. A phone interview could be in place to get an initial conversation with candidates to set out guidelines and provide extra details. An invite to one-to-one interviews can give a real insight about individuals. Online interviews can also be conducted. Assessments or tests can be given to test candidates' ability. Furthermore, after this, shortlisting can be taken place, highlighting the transferable and relevant qualifications from candidates to move forward. Dependent on the company, you may be invited to an in-person visit to get a real feel of the environment prior to onboarding. Hiring the most suitable applicant, negotiations and offers can be given. The standard process includes providing an enhanced DBS references will be required, providing right to work documentation and background checks will be completed. What is fair recruitment? Fair recruitment is a non-discriminatory hiring style ensuring everyone gets an equal shot based on skills and qualifications without bias. Safe recruitment is in place to protect and promote individuals' welfare and safety, ensuring a safe and healthy environment. Essential steps include 2 references, qualification verification, enhanced DBS. This allows for appropriate candidates to be onboarded. Safeguarding is in fair recruitment. It means protecting vulnerable individuals. This ensures the process is safe. The Equality Act 2010 prohibits employers from discriminating against employers and job applicants based on protected characteristics.
Selection methods. Application forms or CVs. These evaluate communication skills and understanding of the role. It identifies transferable skills such as patience and teamwork. Structured interviews. These use standardized questions for all candidates, improving fairness and consistency. It often includes scenario-based questions to test real-life behavior and decision-making. Campion et al., 1997. Classroom observation. assesses practical teaching and behaviour management skills in real settings, evaluates ability to apply teaching strategies and support diverse learners in practice. How effective are these methods? Application forms and CVs. The positives of these are that it provides an efficient method for shortlisting large number of applicants, and it offers insights into their qualifications and past experiences. However, the negatives is that it may disadvantage candidates with weaker written communication skills, and it does not effectively assess practical classroom ability. Structured interviews, the positives are that it improves reliability and fairness compared to unstructured interviews, and it also allows assessment of empathy, motivation, and safeguarding awareness. The negatives are that candidates may provide socially desirable or idealized responses rather than genuine behavior. However, interviews may still be influenced by bias. Levanisha et al. 2014. Classroom observation. The positives are that it provides direct evidence of candidates' teaching capability and classroom performance. Darling-Hammond 2000. However, the negatives are that the performance may still be affected by nervousness or unfamiliar environment, and a single observation may not reflect the long-term ability.
The critical reflections part is about questioning whether the selection methods are actually fair, inclusive, and effective. There are several issues worth raising here. We first look at fairness. One problem is gender bias in SEN teaching assessment roles. The workforce is heavily female, and research shows that male applicants with the same qualifications sometimes receive lower scores because of implicit bias. It is not intentional, but it affects hiring decisions. Another fairness concern is structured interviews. They do improve consistency, but they are still open to personal judgment. Candidates who lack confidence or get nervous may perform poorly in interviews, even if they have strong practical skills. The interview does not always reflect their real ability. Now about inclusivity. Some of the selection tasks can be really hard for people with dyslexia, social anxiety, and autism. Since lack timed writing, stressful interviews, and group discussions, the sad thing is these people might actually understand SEN children better because they know what it's like to struggle themselves, but the way we select candidates might push them away. There is also the issue of reasonable adjustments. The Equality Act requires employers to provide them, but many schools do not clearly explain how to apply for adjustments. Applicants with hidden disabilities may not know they can ask for support, so they end up dropping out. That kind of self-exclusion is a real concern. On effectiveness, we found that the most valid selection tools like assessment centers or travel days are often avoided because they take time or cost money. Schools tend to choose cheaper methods, and that compromises selection quality. These are the main concerns we identified in the critical reflections.
Conclusion: selection methods must balance practical ability, communication skills, and safeguarding awareness to ensure suitable candidates are chosen. Structured interviews and classroom observations are particularly effective in assessing real-world teaching ability and behaviours. However, limitations such as bias, interview pressure, and lack of inclusivity can affect fairness in selection process. Improving recruitment practices through structured methods and inclusive approaches can lead to better outcomes for both staff and students.
Here are the references. Thanks for listening.